side? What is the side about? Ask him. Four four. Four four. Four four. No, 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 no. Try to knock him over, but don't really do it.
Welcome to Fashion News Live. I'm your host, Rocco. We are here outside of the studios where they're filming SuperDeafy with the star of the movie, John Maucere. What's happening here, John? There's production, there's people running around. I got a sneak peek backstage of an amazing production. I can't wait for the movie to come out. And I've actually seen several of your clips online, and I'm a coder myself, and I've really, really enjoyed the clips. So tell me about this movie and everything, what inspired you to get involved with creating this character, because you started this yourself, and I want to know all about it.
First of all, Rocco, let me get the right eye line here. You see this? Well, what can I say? I can talk day and night about this project. Let's go back to the origins of SuperDeafy, okay? I started that character back in 1996. I created that character because I had a theater group that I was working with called Deafywood. And we added this SuperDeafy character as one of the skits. You know, deaf people don't have a superhero to look up to, so I thought that would be a fun addition to the show. I saw a tremendous reaction from the audience, especially from the kids out there. They truly love SuperDeafy, so it started there. And the idea for the film started then. We didn't obviously move on the idea at that time. I mean, how many people in Hollywood think about making a movie? I was one of those people. I grew up here. I've seen hundreds of people have dreams and never achieve them, but I stuck with SuperDeafy with the wonderful support of my wife, Lauren. She's always been there, encouraging me and SuperDeafy. She's the one who originally designed the SuperDeafy logo. And I saw that the character blossomed, the audience was growing, and I decided that it was time to make webisodes. That was the beginning of SuperDeafy on screen. Sure enough, after 10 webisodes on the internet, each of them had over 1 million hits, and all of them, again, had over 1 million hits through deafnation.com, and that's when I started to think that, you know what, it's time to make this a movie. But, you know, knock on wood, money doesn't grow on something like this, a tree, right? So where do we find the funding? I then met Liz Tannebaum, my partner, and we began talking about the idea. You know, I knew that Liz loved films. Her father was involved with the film industry, and we talked about it, but we never proceeded past the talking stage. Once my brother came in the picture, the three of us started working diligently to make this a reality. And sure enough, we made headway. And once the story came into the picture, the three of us picked up that script and ran with it, and here we are producing that film.
That's a wonderful story. It sounds like you're living a dream that every young child wants to have. It's amazing. What advice would you give to young kids out there, whether deaf or hearing, any children that have a dream like you had when you were growing up and now you're actually living your dream?
I'm glad you asked me that question. And the reason is because film is such a wonderful medium. No ordinary hero is about believing in yourself and what can happen once you do that. So my advice to kids out there would be do whatever you want that you have in your mind. if you can believe it, you can achieve it. You have to believe in yourself, and that's what I believe in. That's the message I would share with people out there, and that's what I did. I started to believe that I could actually make a movie, and once the belief was rooted, it grew. And when you'll see that in the movie, you'll see that behind the entire story, you'll see that it is actually my journey from not having any character to having a film on the silver screen.
When is the release date for the movie, and how will people be able to watch it? Is it something online? Is it in theaters? Do you have a premiere date? Is there a website, or what information could you provide so all of the audience out there could get more information on when they can go watch the movie once it comes out?
Okay, well, the premiere date is actually August 24th. You can go to Hollywood Boulevard, and there will be people handing out, not tickets, but DVDs right there on Hollywood Boulevard. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I had you there, Rocco.
Yeah. I was like, what? What kind of movie?
Sorry. No. We do have a premiere date, an actual theatrical release date, which is August 24th. That's the world premiere in Westwood, California. If you want more information, go to SuperDeafy.com and have all the information there. You can check our Facebook page as well. And the information is going to be out there. We've hired Deaf Nation as our distributor on the deaf side. Of course, they have ASL Films and all of that in their camp, and they have a large network. We not only will be using them, but we're advertising to the general public as well. We want this movie to reach both worlds, the deaf and the hearing worlds. That's what thrilled me about this project, is that this film and the crew has a lot of hearing people and some deaf people. The cast has a mix of hearing and deaf folks. And together, we were able to realize this vision. I can see that the people here on set are touched by the story, and we know that this story is going to cross over to both worlds. Absolutely.
Now, I would like to ask you two other questions that have nothing to do with the movie. One question is, you were someplace in Turkey last summer. Tell me about your affiliation with MMDI. And then after that, I saw you on Super Bowl, and I want to know how that felt when you were, signing the Pledge of Allegiance in front of millions and millions of people.
Well, first off, I did visit Turkey, and I had a great time with this guy right here, Rocco, and his mom, and his sister, and it was just a great get-together there in Turkey. I was the MC for that weekend, and that experience in Turkey was outstanding. It had an international audience. There was a pageant with international contestants. We were using international sign language, and I enjoyed that experience tremendously. I'd like to do that again someday. Thanks to you and your crew for believing in me and bringing us out there. Now about the Super Bowl, what can I say? First of all, it was February 3rd. Super Bowl was on my birthday, February 3rd. And I just will never forget the feeling of walking through that tunnel and seeing the light at the end of it. And as I exited the tunnel, I was astonished to see a massive humanity, over 100,000 people in the stadium. And I'm deaf, okay? But I could easily feel the energy. My body could hear the roar of the crowd, and it was tremendous, uplifting experience. And then to be able to sign for the audience, I felt like they were with me 100%. I was performing directly from my soul to the audience, and to be on a stage with Alicia Keys and Jennifer Hudson, that was a surreal experience for me. That feeling was just tremendous. And what was most thrilling of all, or touching, was that my father was able to witness that event, and the next day he left us.
I'm sorry to hear about your father. And you're doing amazing things, and you're aspiring millions and millions of people out there to see that their dreams can come true. And I believe this was instilled upon you by your father, by your upbringing. So you are living his legacy, and he can see you from heaven. I'm sure of it. And I don't believe that people die. Energy never dies.
Never. You're right. Absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much for your movie when it comes out. I want to come to the premiere.
Yes, we'll have you there. Thank you, Rocco.
The Fashion News Live, I'm your host, Rocco. I am here with executive producer Liz Tannebaum for the movie SuperDeafy. We are here in front of the sound stage, and she has given me a few minutes of her time so I can talk to her about the movie. So Liz, thank you for having me on set.
Thank you for having me here. It's an honor to be here on Fashion News Live. I've always loved fashion, so I'm so excited to be a part of this. So thank you.
So I wanted to ask you how you got involved with EPing SuperDeafy. I know that I did a little bit of research online before we sat down for this interview, and you actually come from a family of producers here for a long time in Hollywood.
Yes, that's correct. And I'll just make it a kind of short for you. Of course, I've always dreamed of becoming an executive producer because I grew up doing plays. I watched my father, Ted Tannebaum, who used to own Lakeshore Entertainment in Hollywood here. And I've watched him. I said, "Hey, Dad, make a movie for deaf audiences. You know Hollywood. They say this, that, this. We would never," but I never gave up this dream. And he passed away in 2002, I'm sorry. So my dream was still there. I was still alive. And I never wanted to give up that dream. And now John asked me if I wanted to be involved with this movie because I've seen his SuperDeafy character, and he has the material. He has everything. Everything that I see the deaf audience has fallen in love with. His energy is amazing. And so we started talking, and of course Paul came into the picture, and we decided, sure, why not? And I know SuperDeafy will be a success. It will be successful. The material is there. And so it was a no-brainer.
I just interviewed John earlier today, and he was explaining how he's living his dream. He's always had this dream, and it's the same story that I'm getting from you. So it sounds like that this film is making dreams come true with people who have had childhood dreams all of their life.
Absolutely, absolutely. Every person in the world has their own dream. Once my dream came true, as it is here, I have had so many happy tears seeing it's finally here. It's important, to have a dream. And it's just, I am so excited.
What is your next project? Where do you see yourself? Is there a part 2 coming up soon? As an executive producer, you're the top of the top right here. So what is the future for SuperDeafy, or for your company? You have a creative company. Tell me the name of your company, and then tell me, are there other projects that you're involved in currently?
Definitely. After this SuperDeafy movie, there will be more movies from now on because I'm continuing with my dream. That's so important, to continue my dream. The purpose of my company, it's called Mariposa Creativity. And the reason why I chose Mariposa is because it's a butterfly named after my father. We had a house in Acapulco in Mexico, and the name of the house was Mariposa, with butterflies all around. And I thought, you know what? I want to name this after my father because he and I We had such an amazing father and daughter relationship. He knew my heart that I always wanted to make this happen in Hollywood and make movies. So it deserved to be the name of Mariposa Creativity. So thank you, Dad.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I've really enjoyed checking out the set, talking to you, and I can't wait to see the movie when it comes out. Can you send me a ticket to come watch the movie?
Of course, of course. You can't miss the opening night. You cannot miss it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for watching Fashion News Live, and stay tuned as we continue showcasing the best of the best right here in Hollywood. Welcome to Fashion News Live. I'm your host, Rocco. We are here on set for the SuperDeafy movie with one of the actors, Michelle Nunes.
Hi. Hello. Hi, everyone.
Hello, hello. So how does it feel? You're rapping today, right? Today is the last day. You've been filming for days and days and days. Tell me your involvement with the project.
So I am rapping today. I'm picture wrapped. That means that I'm personally finished, but they're still doing some other stuff. And it has been amazing. The team is amazing. Everyone, it's kind of a passion project for a lot of the people involved. The SuperDeafy character, John's character, has actually been around for about 15 years. So for him, it's this culmination of a dream that he's been building. And I feel honored to be a part of it.
And what is your character?
My character is Jenny. She is a teacher. And I don't want to give away too much, but I will say that she, maybe falls for one or two people. And there's maybe a bit of a love triangle. And you see that resolve by the end of the film. So I don't want to give away too much. He's waiting for me to tell you more, and I refuse.
We have to go watch the movie to know what the ending is, to know what's going on.
Right. I don't want to tell you too much.
Well, thank you for your time. I know you're picture wrapped, so you must be excited but sad at the same time.
So the first thing I'm going to do is go have a donut, because you can't necessarily have those kinds of things because the picture will add some pounds. And so I plan on eating a donut tonight in celebration.
Enjoy your donut.
Oh, I will.
Thank you for watching Fashion News Live, and stay tuned as we bring the best of the best right here from Hollywood, California. Welcome to Fashion News Live. I'm your host, Rocco. I'm here with executive producer Paul Maucere of SuperDeafy. So I got an opportunity to see the soundstage. I've interviewed some of your colleagues, and it is so exciting. I wanted to ask you how you've come up with this project. I mean, it's your brother, right? He's the star. He's actually the SuperDeafy. When he was young, did you guys run around and you were the villain and he was the SuperDeafy guy and you guys would fight? Is this how it came to be? Give me some backstory on the SuperDeafy.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, well, first of all, when I was a young kid, about 8 years old, John was, 6? And we went camping. I believe it was with some other codas and other deaf families and whatnot. And I happened to be the lighting director because my uncle was a lighting director for Sonny and Cher and several other shows, Full House, for example. And so anyhow, I had a tent, and I had a very powerful flashlight, a spotlight, that we plugged into the car, and I shot that spotlight out there, and John would perform in front of it. Right next to this big rock, which we used as a backdrop, and he would act like Cher, okay? And I would shine the spotlight on him, and he would perform his Cher routine. And from then on, I always loved performing with my brother. And that's how we started in this business. And the way we started this project was, it's an incredible story. We had always thought about making a movie, and I had told John over the years, it's time for you to make a film. And he said, I know. I had seen his webisodes that he had made of SuperDeafy, and they were a hit. And I felt, now is the time to turn this into a feature film. He asked me to go with him to France, and I said, sure. So I flew out to France, and there was a place out there where everyone came together, deaf artists, international creators, sculptors, painters, and everyone came together for a week. And during that week out there, I happened to be the technical director of that show, and I could see the audience, this tremendous audience, watching John perform, and I realized that they were truly excited with what he was doing. They were reacting to his character in such a positive manner, and I turned to the sound guy and the lighting guy who was next to him, and they were laughing. They were hearing guys. They were French. They didn't even know what language he was using, but they loved the show. So I thought this character isn't just for deaf people. It's not just for deaf and hearing people. It can cross over to all people. And during that week, I saw, again, the reception that he received and the fact that friends brought their friends, and the audience grew by the end of the week. At that point, I said, John, we're ready. Liz and I jumped in the picture, and we brought John along, and here we are.
That's an amazing story. Wow. Again, it intertwines with dreams coming true, and it sounds like you, Liz, and John have had these childhood dreams that now it's coming completely true.
You know, I've always loved Thoreau's quote. He said, if you dream it, you must live it and make it happen. And, you know, that's the essence of his quote, and it gives me chills as I say it right now. I tell people every day, if you have a dream, you can make that happen. If you can believe it, you can achieve it. And look, here I am today. Belief is a powerful force, and that's an incredible message, and it's something I share with everyone. Yes, you're right, it is amazing.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for having me here. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely a pleasure.
And am I going to get a ticket to the preview for the show, for the screening or something?
Well, you'll have to ask my other half. Sure, Rocco. Absolutely.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for watching Fashion News Live, and stay tuned as we continue bringing the best of the best right here in Hollywood, California. Welcome to Fashion News Live. I'm your host, Rocco. We are here with actor Peter Holney for the SuperDeafy movie. We're actually on set. You can see things happening behind us, and I wanted to grab you for a second. Well, first, thank you for your time, but I wanted to grab you for a second and ask you about your involvement with the movie and how it feels to be involved in such a, I don't even know what word I'm looking for.
Cutting edge?
Yeah, cutting edge, first time movie, never done before.
First time deaf director, producer, maybe not the first producer, maybe the second time a movie's been done, but I love it. It's been an extremely enjoyable process for me because I've never actually worked with a deaf person before, especially a deaf director and actor and interpreters. It was different, but it was great. It all worked out. And the strange thing about it all was that, you know, John, who's the lead of the movie, who plays Tony, I play his sidekick, Officer Norm Derrick, and we, for some weird reason, we just had a chemistry, and I could always understand him, and I don't know ASL. I kind of knew a little bit of the alphabet. I knew that as a kid, but so it's been a great experience for me.
So tell me about your character on the movie.
Well, I play this not so nice guy, and he's kind of a beep. I won't say the word, but basically I'm kind of a bad guy to Tony because we have a TV show together, a kids TV show together, and it's for the hearing impaired. ASL is always used, and I don't know that much about it. I don't really care about it that much. I just want to be a better actor and move on to the bigger things with George and Brad Pitt and everything. And so I'm kind of a tool, you could say.
Wow. Well, I can't wait to see the movie. Thank you so much for your time.
You got it, buddy.
Thank you. Thank you for watching Fashion News Live, and stay tuned as we continue bringing you the best of the best. Welcome to Fashion News Live. I'm here with actor Robert DeMero. What brings you to the set of SuperDeafy?
Well, Hilari is a good friend of mine, and Troy as well. We've performed together years ago in the National Theater of the Deaf, and they considered me as someone who should be involved with the SuperDeafy film project. And of course, I was interested, and I found out that I was doing more than just hanging out on the set and not just making a cameo in the movie, but also functioning as Hilari's assistant, as a producer's assistant. But I wasn't actually only doing that. It seems I was helping out in just about every department. You know, I brought the energy and enthusiasm that I bring naturally, and to this project, SuperDeafy, with John Maucere's vision becoming true, that just infused me with the energy to give back to this project. So I'm here to help me out any way I can. That's what brought me to set.
How did you get involved in the entertainment industry? were you first like a comedian and then became an actor? Because if I remember correctly, you do something with comedy. Is that correct, or am I incorrect?
No, you're absolutely correct. Originally, it all started at the American School for the Deaf in Connecticut. I was the class clown. So, I was also involved with the school plays over the years there. And then, of course, I looked up to the National Theater of the Deaf and wanted to be a part of that. And my dream became true. I was a member of the company and did many projects with them and toured with them and moved on to film. And that's just how I became an entertainer. I consider myself an entertainer. I develop my own projects. I do improv, clowning. I develop ideas. And I've toured around and performed in many different places. And I don't just limit myself to performing, but creating. I love to make people laugh and entertain them. And that's what I do.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you coming out from set. I know everyone's really busy here, and I can't wait to see more things that you do, and I can't wait to see your cameo in the movie.
Very cool. Awesome. Thank you for bringing me out here.
Thank you for watching Fashion News Live, and stay tuned as we bring you only the best right here in Hollywood, California. The Fashion News Live, I'm your host, Rocco. I am here with executive producer Liz Tannebaum for the movie SuperDeafy. We are here in front of the sound stage, and she has given me a few minutes of her time so I can talk to her about the movie. So Liz, thank you for having me on set.
Thank you for having me here. It's an honor to be here on Fashion News Live. I've always loved fashion, so I'm so excited to be a part of this. So thank you.
So I wanted to ask you how you got involved with EPing SuperDeafy. I know that I did a little bit of research online before we sat down for this interview, and you actually come from a family of producers here for a long time in Hollywood.
Yes, that's correct. And I'll just make it a kind of short for you. Of course, I've always dreamed of becoming an executive producer because I grew up doing plays. I watched my father, Ted Tannebaum, who used to own Lakeshore Entertainment in Hollywood here. And I've watched him. I said, "Hey, Dad, make a movie for deaf audiences. Hollywood, they say this, that, this. We would never," but I never gave up this dream. And he passed away in 2002, I'm sorry. So my dream was still there. I was still alive. And I never wanted to give up that dream. Now John asked me if I wanted to be involved with this movie because I've seen his SuperDeafy character. And he has the material. He has everything. Everything that I see the deaf audience has fallen in love with. His energy is amazing. And so we started talking. And of course, Paul came into the picture. And we decided, sure, why not? And I know SuperDeafy will be a success. It will be successful. The material is there. And so it was a no-brainer.
I just interviewed John earlier today, and he was explaining how he's living his dream. He's always had this dream, and it's the same story that I'm getting from you. So it sounds like that this film is making dreams come true with people who have had childhood dreams all of their life.
Absolutely, absolutely. Every person in the world has their own dream. Once my dream came true, as it is here, I have had so many happy tears seeing it's finally here. It's important, to have a dream. And it's just, I am so excited.
What is your next project? Where do you see yourself? Is there a part 2 coming up soon? As an executive producer, you're the top of the top right here. So what is the future for SuperDeafy, or for your company? You have a creative company. Tell me the name of your company, and then tell me, are there other projects that you're involved in currently?
Definitely. After this SuperDeafy movie, there will be more movies from now on because I'm continuing with my dream. That's so important to continue my dream. The purpose of my company, it's called Mariposa Creativity. And the reason why I chose Mariposa is because it's a butterfly named after my father. We had a house in Acapulco in Mexico, and the name of the house was Mariposa, with butterflies all around. And I thought, you know what? I want to name this after my father because he and we had such an amazing father and daughter relationship. He knew my heart that I always wanted to make this happen in Hollywood and make movies. So it deserved to be the name of Mariposa Creativity. So thank you, Dad.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I've really enjoyed checking out the set, talking to you, and I can't wait to see the movie when it comes out. Well, can you send me a ticket to come watch the movie?
Of course, of course. You can't miss the opening night. You cannot miss it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for watching Fashion News Live, and stay tuned as we continue showcasing the best of the best right here in Hollywood. Welcome to Fashion News Live. I'm your host, Rocco. We are here on the set for SuperDeafy with the director, Troy Kotsur. So tell me about the journey that brought you to this point. I know you just wrapped right now and it's exciting, but I want to know about the journey. And I heard that you've been getting involved in this for several years, a couple decades, like 20 years or something.
You know, when I was younger, I had a dream. I wanted to make movies and tell stories, show stories visually. And over the years, I found out that it required a lot of hearing, the ability to hear and speak. And since, the 80s, as a kid, I realized that there were limitations out there for deaf folks like myself. I was into movies, and I would apply for film schools. I never would tell them I was deaf, and I would get accepted. And when I would show up for the in-person interview, I would say I'm deaf, and it was always an awkward moment. I would have to ask, do you provide interpreters? And they say, well, you kind of have to bring your own, and that would cost a lot of money, and those were barriers that I faced. It was fate that brought me to the television show Sue Thomas FBI. That was under the PAX network, and that was about 10 years ago. My wife was cast as the star of that show, and the advantage I had was being able to visit set every day for 3 years, and that was my internship. I was able to watch different directors and how they function and watch producers and see what they did. I studied the cameraman. I studied all the different departments and picked up on the tricks of the trade. With that experience, I decided to start making home movies and self-made several movies, and that's my profile. I showed those films to my friends who were interested in filmmaking. I showed them my work, and they told me that I had a lot of potential. They also knew that I have a long history of acting with Deaf Wax Theater, and that helped me a lot in terms of character analysis and working with other actors and working with different directors. And I developed the tools that I needed through that experience on the job. And that was the best way for me to learn my real world experience. And it's been a challenge, and I've been able to make it to this project, which is a mainstream project, and it still has deaf in the name. It's SuperDeafy, and to be a director of such a large crew that includes so many hearing people is a blessing. I feel like I was able to bring us all together as a team. I forgot about the divisions between hearing and deaf, and I'm so grateful that I have the opportunity to direct this film. And today, we've wrapped that film, and what a great experience it's been.
So it really sounds like you've had a dream come true. It seems like this is a dream team of dreams coming true. What advice would you give to young kids that are trying to follow in your footsteps, and they want to go to film school, they want to be a director, they maybe they're deaf, maybe they have other things, barriers that they may have, whether hearing or deaf? What advice would you give to them?
I would tell them to don't give up on your dreams, to pursue your dreams to the fullest. Today we have so much technology that deaf people, for example, have access to the world through technology. We can watch movies with subtitles. In the olden days, we used to have someone have to make phone calls for us. Those days are no longer. Deaf people do have access to the wider world through smartphones, for example. And I can see that the opportunities are growing, and I can see that here on set, using a live interpreter, we're able to function. Even without the interpreter, we communicate through emails and other sort of technology. So the world today is so much more friendly to a deaf person. The barriers are dissolving, and I would tell kids, follow your dreams. There's nobody out there to stop you except yourself. And if you believe in yourself, you will succeed.
Wow, that's such an inspirational story. Thank you so much for letting me on your set. And I can't wait to see the film.
Check it out this fall, SuperDeafy coming out. Thank you, Rocco.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for watching Fashion News Live, and stay tuned as we continue showcasing the best right here in Hollywood, California.